Hello everyone, Darth Lego here, and in today's video I will be doing a 2-in-1 review of the Imperial TIE Fighter from the new 2021 Winter Wave, sorry, I'm just so used to saying 2020, but no, it's the new year now. And then over here we have Trouble on Tatooine, which is a set based off of The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1. And so I will be talking Mando Season 2 spoilers, so if you have not watched it and don't want spoilers, then you probably should not watch this video. So, yeah, let's get into the reviews. And before I move on, I would just like to say, some of you may be thinking, where are the other two sets from this wave? The Microfighter Millennium Falcon and the new smaller scaled X-Wing to accompany this TIE Fighter. And so the Millennium Falcon is a microfighter, and I don't really focus on microfighters, and I think they're sort of lesser sets, I guess, and so, yeah, I don't really think it would just fit in with my channel if I reviewed that, and also, I didn't really want it. It's so repetitive. I already have Han Solo minifigures, and really, for me, that would be the only draw from that set. And as for the X-Wing, I have the 2018 version, which I think is substantially better. It is one of the best X-Wings we have ever gotten, and so I really didn't feel the need to get that X-Wing. But I still will be making comparisons between the new X-Wing and the new TIE Fighter, since they are in this new scale that is sort of play scale, I guess. Not necessarily minifig scale, but play scale. So yeah, let's get on into the review, starting with the Imperial TIE Fighter. Okay, so now getting on into the review of the Imperial TIE Fighter, let's start off with the minifigures. So, starting off with the new Death Star droid that came in this set, it is the exact same head mold as the Death Star droid from 2015, but there is still no print on the head, which is sort of something I didn't really like about this. I think that they could have done a sort of small upgrade just by making the eyes maybe silver. Sorry, let me focus my camera. Okay, yeah. But I think it would have been cool if they made the eyes silver on these droids. I think that would have helped a lot. And then you can also see that they changed the stomach prints by adding more color to the wires and making just the overall print a bit shinier, which I really like, and I think it turned out great. So no head printing is sort of not really a downgrade, because there was none on the first one either, but something that they could have upgraded and didn't, which I don't really like. But the overall body printing, 10 times better. I like the colors for the wires as well as just making the rest shinier. So now, moving on, we have the Imperial TIE Pilot. And so the only other Imperial TIE Fighter pilot I have is the version from 2012, which is extremely outdated, and it came in the Planet set, the Death Star Planet Series set. I really like those Planet Series sets, and I sort of hope that LEGO brings them back. But now, let's just compare them. So this one, keep in mind, is extremely outdated, so most things on this figure will be drastically better. So, first of all, right on the head, you can see the Imperial insignias on the newer version are so much cleaner right here. And just, these ones are sort of pale, whereas these are almost shiny. And then you can also see that the printing for the mouthpiece right there is definitely more shiny. And I think what they did is they used the new silver color for this helmet, whereas for this one, it looks like they almost used dark gray, maybe. And so then you can also see that on the newer version, there is these little lines of printing right under the eyes, which is just really accurate. And I also like the stripes they did around the nose. And yeah, let's just lift off the helmet, and we have the Lex Luthor face. And I'm just so glad that every minifigure ever doesn't just have the angry clone face. And something I wish they did do, honestly, is if we lift up this, they have this like balaclava head where like it has a wrap around it, and this was before when they started doing this printing. It just turned out terrible, right? And it would just be like super bad, and it would just be tinted whatever color it was on top of or something. And I don't know why that started happening, because they used to do it great. Like, look at this is a really nice face. And so I might honestly just switch these faces, because I know I'll be using this minifigure more than I will be using this one. And I really honestly wish that they had done something like this for the newer TIE Pilot. Yeah, so that is really the only bad thing about this minifigure compared to the 2012 version. And I don't know what happened to the printing since 2012, because they used to be able to do some really good printing on top of heads that were one solid color, but they just, I don't know how they messed it up, but they did. Yeah, I think they started printing the face on top of the head, instead of the head on top of the face, or the other way around. I'm not exactly sure, but that type of printing definitely is worse nowadays than 2012. So now, let's just move on to the chest and compare it to the old one. There's really no comparison. This one is 10 times better. The tubes are thicker and more accurate. Although I sort of liked how this one is shiny right there. That little breathing area right there. And then for the little belt that's right above the waist, they definitely added more printing to this newer one. There are now like 3 pockets opposed to like 1, or is that a button or something? And then for the legs, they use the stereotypical Imperial leg design, which just has like these big bags on top of the like shins, I guess it would be. And then it also has some waist printing, which is really nice. Here, I'll try to show you that a bit more. It's just a couple lines, but it just adds a bit of depth, and I really like that. So yeah, let's move on to the third minifigure. So the third minifigure is the new dual molded helmeted Imperial Stormtrooper. Yeah, it's just the regular old Stormtrooper, but something nice about this is it doesn't have a angry clone face. It just has like this sort of concerned male face. And so, ooh, yeah, talking about how they're male faces, something I think would be interesting is either with a First Order Stormtrooper or an Imperial Stormtrooper, if they made, or if there was like a girl's face underneath, that would be sort of cool, because I used to think that like all Stormtroopers, every single type, were all clones, but I recently learned that that's not true. So yeah, I don't know, I just think that would be sort of cool. And so yeah, it's the regular old Stormtrooper. I really like the dual molded helmet. I'm glad that they keep going with that Stormtrooper design opposed to the Rogue One version, because it is just so much more accurate. I love it. Now let's move on to the vehicle. So now, the most controversial part of the set, the cockpit. Everyone says that this cockpit is too big for the wings. And now I slightly agree with that and slightly disagree. Yes, it is overscaled, but it does not look that bad in person. I was really hyped for this set because I don't have any TIE Fighters except for this one. And so I ordered it like at 12 o'clock, and I was just excited for it to get here. And then I watched someone's review and I got sort of worried that it might not be as good as I thought it would be. But then when I got it, when I built it and I saw it in person built, I think it looks great. Obviously, it isn't perfectly scaled, but it's not terribly scaled either. Like, it doesn't look wrong, it just doesn't look right, if you get what I mean. And so, I honestly don't think it's that bad. And so now let's just take a little look inside the cockpit, and I think that this is absolutely one of the best Imperial cockpit, or Imperial TIE Fighter cockpits that we have gotten, because you can see that there are these little panels inside that makes it just like 10 times more accurate than most of the Imperial TIE Fighters we have gotten before, and I really like the new design for how they're keeping the wings attached to the cockpit using that new this piece right here, the like 6x6 plate with the Technic little holes there, and I think it really works. And something I tested out with this model for fun, because it looks really sturdy, is how, like, easily will it break? Watch this. Like, it rarely breaks. It, like, nothing just falls off the wings, and I, like, dropped this TIE Fighter onto my bed from, like, 2 feet up, and the only thing that broke was the wings. They snap off pretty easily, and then it can be hard to get all 3 pins back in perfectly. And the other loose thing is this piece right here. It's honestly pretty loose, and I have like a small solution for that. It's pretty easy. Just instead of using one of these jumper plates, just use a regular 2x2 in gray and just stick this between the studs and it'll work better. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do to mine, just not yet. And so yeah, really the only loose thing about this build that will ever fall off is this piece right here and the wings. They come off pretty easily because it's only Technic pins and they snap pretty easily, but not when I want them to, naturally. Yeah, so these little parts on the front and back can also get misaligned sometimes, but really only if you're rough with it. Like, I was just like throwing mine around a bit just to see how easily it would break, because I really didn't think it would, and like really nothing happened. So one of the best TIE Fighters, in my opinion, that we have ever gotten. This cockpit is so well-rounded, 10 times better than the 2018 version from Solo. And now for just a size comparison, for those of you who don't have it, here's the AAT if you have that, so you can get a pretty good idea on how big this is. So it is about twice as tall as the AAT and about as wide, if I just put them right in front of each other. So yeah, they're about the same length, width, and for length, this AAT's cannon barely counts, but they are also about the same length, not including this cannon, because that is just extremely too long. So yeah, I honestly really like this TIE Fighter. Now, I will admit I don't have any other TIE Fighters to compare it to, so you might not want to trust me, I guess, about that, but I really like it. I think it's honestly one of the best TIE Fighters we've ever gotten, besides not completely being scaled with itself, if you get what I mean, just like the AAT. This has a small body, and its head is a bit too big. And then, same with this. Head is a bit too big, wings are... No, actually, that's a little different, because the head is scaled pretty well, and it's honestly minifigure scale, and completely well-rounded, and this cockpit is amazing. But then when you stick it to these wings, it doesn't really work, because these wings are just a bit too small. But I feel like it's still really good, because, like, it's not perfect, right? But it doesn't look wrong. And then if you, like, really want to nitpick, it does look a bit, like, it doesn't look right, but it doesn't look wrong, like I said earlier. And it's a very sturdy model, like, it rarely breaks. Now, you can see that we're looking at the TIE Fighter's wing, and why I'm showing you this is because of detail. It honestly has a lot, and I think it turned out really good. I like how they used these small bar pieces over here, and there are actually no stickers in this set. It's all printed pieces. This is printed, this is printed, everything in this set is printed, which is just like amazing, because I hate stickers. The detail on this set is honestly amazing. The engine looks pretty great too. And so, yeah, I really like the detail on this set too. So, I guess that's it for this set. Let's move on to Trouble on Tatooine. So now you can see that I have Trouble on Tatooine here. So let's just start off with the minifigures like we did with the TIE Fighter. So let's just start off with the most wanted figure in this whole set, Mando himself in his pure Beskar armor. So this is, I'm just gonna straight up say it, almost custom level. Like, this is one of the best Lego Star Wars minifigures we have ever gotten. So let's just start off with the legs. I've heard a couple people saying that it is the exact same printing as the old Mando figure, and it isn't. It is super similar, but it has some small differences, like little armor plate on his right leg. It is about the same shape, but it isn't the same print. It looks sort of similar. You can see that, like, here he has the same like little bandolier, but this one has 4 bullets opposed to 3 here. And then he has the same little piece of technology right there as he does here. And so they look really similar, but they are not the same. And so I just wanted to point that out for some people that I've heard saying that they are the same. Then for the dark brown under the armor, I think it looks great. It's pretty accurate. He is wearing dark brown under his Beskar armor, and so I think that turned out really great using that as a base color. So now I just want to show you this arm printing because it is honestly amazing. So let me just see if it'll zoom in on it. So there we go. There is the arm printing, and you can see there is a little mud horn right there, and they have like each little print you would possibly need for his little gauntlets there, and the arms are the same on both sides, except for that this one has the mud horn insignia right there, and this is honestly custom level. Like I said earlier, this is amazing. Like, this is some of the most intricate printing I have ever seen. I'm so glad that they gave it arm printing. It honestly looks just amazing. Like, I'm baffled that Lego put this much effort into this Mando figure. It looks amazing. I know I've said that like at least 3 times. So now comparing the back to the old back, it is actually the same print on the back, I'm pretty sure, besides the color scheme, of course. And so the back is the same print, the front is not, and nothing else is either. And then, of course, we have this new helmet in light silver opposed to this like gunmetal. And I think it definitely looks better. I actually didn't have that much of a problem with the old helmet until someone pointed it out, and I realized, oh my gosh, yeah, this really is pretty off. And then, of course, we just have the regular old dark gray Mando cape, and that is the exact same one from the old minifigure, because, of course, he does have the same cape, so I can't blame them for that. It looks pretty good anyway. So now let's move on to Baby Yoda. So right here, we have Baby Yoda. It is the exact same mold as the one that came in the Razor Crest, so now I guess I just have 2, so that'll be useful in case I want to display him on 2 mocks or something at the same time without having to take him out of the other. I would have liked it if they gave him like a new expression or something, or maybe like an entirely new head mold, just so that like his, sorry, let me focus. There we go. So that his ears would like bend down, and then like he would look sad or something. I think that would have been cool if they gave him a new head mold. but it is the exact same print and mold and everything as the old Baby Yoda. So now let's move on to the Tuscan Raider. So for his weapon, we just have the regular old Tuscan Raider staff piece, or combination of pieces, more like. And so this is the Tuscan Raider with one bandolier across the chest and then one across the waist, because I know there are a couple different variants of the Tuscan Raider, but is the exact same head that comes on all of them. And then it has this pretty, it's a pretty good print for the legs. It's just sort of stereotypical, I guess. And I wish they would come up with a new design for this Tuscan Raider so that, I don't know, it would sort of be exclusive, I guess, but not really exclusive, just a new version of the Tuscan Raider. So now, moving on to the builds. First off, we have the Mandalorian's swoop bike. And so, you have some see-through plates on the bottom so that it can look like it is floating, right? And then this can go up and down with whichever way Mando is holding it, like the handles move with this part, like that. And then on the back, you have a backpack that Baby Yoda can sit in, as well as this backpack for Mando. And something I just realized I forgot to mention, but really wanted to, is Mando doesn't come with a jetpack. What is up with that? He comes with a Baby Yoda pack and a sack, but no jetpack? Like, what the heck? When do we ever see him with a backpack? But I guess whatever. I don't know what to tell you. I guess use your own silver jetpack. Yeah, so that was sort of disappointing about this set, that it doesn't even come with a jetpack. But, yeah, let's move on. So you have a little sack for Baby Yoda, and you have some nice greebling on either side of the swoop bike. And then there's also this little, sort of just, windshield sort of thing right here. And it looks pretty good, very accurate. And, yeah, so I like the greebling they did on the sides, too. That looks really good. And then you have this seat for Mando. And Mando sits in this seat sort of strangely, honestly, because he doesn't actually, the studs on his legs don't actually attach to anything. He just holds the handlebars, and he sits on a slanted seat. So that's sort of something new for Lego, I guess. So yeah, that was sort of interesting. You can see that, his legs don't attach to the seat. It's just the arms attaching to the handlebars. So now let's move on to the Ballista. For this Ballista, you can have your little guy here, your Tuscan Raider, manning the cannons, and you are actually able to, as a play function, I guess you could call it, you can turn these back like you are winding the Ballista up, and then these bottom ones do not move, although they look like they sort of should, I guess, you know what I mean? And then these ones can go up and down. These ones can also go up and down, just less, so that they don't just pop off that peg there. Well, that collapsed. So yeah, you can see that these feet aren't that sturdy. If you press down, it will collapse. You also have this see-through brick, and it's a 2x2 brick, which surprised me. I was surprised they didn't just use a 2x2 circle. But, yeah, that will help it stand up so that it's less likely to collapse. Then you also have this, fake wheel down here that will make it look like it sort of is helping it stand up, but it really doesn't. It's sort of just a fake wheel, like I said. Then you have these two circles here that sort of look like joints that help everything just move, since it is a Ballista. And then you have this solid silver spring-loaded shooter. And so that's sort of interesting, because it's a solid color opposed to how most of the ones we have gotten before are see-through colors, like red, green, and blue and stuff. But yeah, so that was sort of interesting to get it in a solid color. But yeah, you can shoot it, and now I'm never gonna find that. But really good build, and I really like it. So now moving on to the tent build, we have first off, just a little fireplace that Cobb Vanth and Mando were all sitting around with the Tuscan Raiders. Then you have a tent that can unfold into a straight line, which would be nice if I guess you were making a stop motion or something in here. That would probably help. And then back here you just have like a little bowl of something, and I sort of took it to be the soup or whatever they called it that the Tuscan Raiders were trying to feed Cobb Vanth, but he didn't want to eat, and then they scared him into eating it, as far as I can remember. And then over here you also have a pot with bones inside, so who knows, that could be Shmi's bones, but yeah, that would be nice. And you can have some nice Shmi stew, right? Cook it over the fire, yummy, tasty. I'm honestly surprised that they did this. That was very surprising from LEGO. Who can't even release a set because people campaigned outside their door for it not to be released, just because, like, it's barely related to war. You also have just, like this stand here, and this can sort of fold up, although it's not really supposed to. It's able to fold, but the main intention of having that joint there is just to have it attached, not to fold the ground up, because that's weird. But yeah, so this set has some pretty neat play functions, like, I guess swooshing this counts as one, but mainly with the Ballista, you could, like, maybe try to, like, shoot Mando or something, although the Tuscan Raiders really aren't a villain in the Mandalorian, so that's just sort of useless. Yeah, one of the bad things about this set is it doesn't really come with a villain, so if you're like a kid that wants to fight with their like Legos, you don't really have a villain in this set, so that would be sort of disappointing. I could see how that would be disappointing. So now let's just get into one bad thing about this set, or not necessarily bad, but I don't know. I've seen a lot of people complaining, or not necessarily complaining, but just like stating that Cobb Vanth should have come in this set. And I don't agree, although I also don't disagree, because absolutely he should have come in this set, but could he have? No, and here's my reasoning. Last year, with Baby Yoda's reveal, no one had any idea that Baby Yoda was going to be in The Mandalorian. Like, so everyone was late with the merch. Especially LEGO, who didn't release a set with Baby Yoda until like 6 months later. So, I think that it is basically the same deal with Cobb Vanth here, because no one knew that he was going to be in there, besides the rumors of Boba Fett. No one guessed that Cobb Vanth would be in here, and I really doubt that Disney told anyone, so they couldn't have made any merch based off of it. And I haven't seen any Cobb Vanth merch. And so I don't blame LEGO for this. I blame Disney or Lucasfilm or whoever is in charge of telling LEGO and other brands what merch to make based off their shows. Like, it's not LEGO's fault. They don't choose what they make, really. They just choose how they make it. So, yeah, that's just like my little rant, I guess. I didn't really expect this set to have Cobb Vanth, honestly. But, yeah, so that is going to be the end of this review. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped you maybe decide if you're going to buy either of these sets, which I really hope you are, because I really like the TIE Fighter. I don't think it's that bad. And of course, if you want this Mando figure, you better get this set. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.